An ecotourism is a form of tourism that involves responsible travel to fragile, pristine, and relatively undisturbed natural areas. An eco-lodge is a lodging facility that follows the guidelines of ecotourism, which is defined a place to stay on a holiday that is designed to not harm the natural environment which it is built on, and also that conserves the environment and improves the well-being of local people. Brunei has received over 200,000 to 300,000 tourists in over 10 years, 2010 to 2020. The most commonly visited places in Brunei by tourists are Kampung Air, a cluster of traditional stilt villages built on the Brunei River, Jerodong Park, the largest amusement park with its very own water park, Empire, the prestigious 5-star resort with stunning private beaches, lagoons, 5 pools, a championship golf course, 6 restaurants, and a cinema, offering a host of guest experience and many more. Most tourists go in search of authentic cultural and environmental experiences. Some of the examples of such places in Brunei include Ulu Temburong, Tasik Marimbun, Bukit Shah Bandar, and Sungai Liang. Some interesting facts that you might not know about Brunei is that the forest covers mostly 81% of the total land area. From there, one of the most diverse ecosystems in the world with over 50,000 hectare expanse is in Temburong. One of the most visited eco-lodge in Temburong is Trendy Marina Resort. Trendy is the longest running eco-lodge in Temburong, established in 1996. It is located right by the river in the lush jungles on the tropical island of Borneo.
Hi, I'm Zati. I'm the Managing Director of Trendy. We're the longest running eco-resort in the Temburong district. So currently there are a couple of eco-lodges scattered around Brunei in different districts. I think there's definitely a potential for growth for them. From the ones that I visited, they are doing great things. There's a lot of cultural representation, which is great to see, a lot of teaching of what kind of foods and what kind of environments we have out here. And just from the different districts, you can see great differences. So lodges are generally located in remote areas, usually close to nature. With Trendy, we're located in Temburong district, right next to our rainforest. So as you can see, there is a river right next to us, pretty much surrounded by jungle. We do a lot of nature tours, which is great. It's super accessible now, especially with the bridge from Bandar connecting us to Temburong now. So as part of being eco, we like to take into account things like using sustainable resources. We have a lot of solar lighting here. Because we are close to the river, we use a lot of cleaning products and things like that, which are safe to go back into our environment. Since all our water is attached to the river, so we want to be conscious of that. We do a bit of recycling with what we can here. Business before COVID was very different. We catered to majority tourists. We didn't have that many local guests. I'd say less than 10% of our market were local guests. So it was very heavy on day trips. A lot of tourists coming in, spending the day in the jungle, coming back, spending a bit of time here before leaving. When COVID hit, it hit us hard. We didn't have any tourists, so that was very difficult for us for a couple of months. But when Brunei started opening up again and restrictions lifted, we got a lot of locals coming in. And it was very different in that we had to change from our heavy, larger groups just going on day trips to a lot more family and friend groups wanting to do more in-depth things. They're more likely to spend a lot more time here, so we get to know them as people, which is nice. In tourism, you have this sort of distancing where people will come, wave at you, say hi, bye. They don't really get an appreciation for culture or what you do. So now with COVID, people spending a lot more time means that they're willing to learn about the cultures, about the food, about the environment. It's a much more, I'd say, greater bonding experience for us as hosts and them as guests, which we didn't really get before COVID, so that was nice to see. It is still difficult business-wise because It's not the same market, so that's been very hard to change over. Like as I said before, we had tourists who may be willing to spend a lot more money for shorter trips compared to locals who are more budget conscious but want a lot more in-depth experience. It was nice because you could see people were really interested in what we had to show here. So we get a lot of groups coming here, seeing plants that they might see at home or around the place and learning what they do, the medicinal properties, and then connecting that. It gives them a sense of pride to be Bruneian and learning about what they have that they didn't know they had before. We are quite a small company. We're local based. Usually people find us through word of mouth. We get a lot of return customers, people bringing over their family, people bringing over their friends. So Trendy this year will be 25 years old. As I said, I've only been here for 4 years, but the company was well established way before me. I used to come as a child and it's definitely changed a lot since then. So when Trendy was first built, it started off as a rest house because from Bandar you used to have to take a boat in the good old days, about an hour drive in a boat, and then it's about another half an hour to come over here. And their goal was to head over to the national park, where you take a temuai about another 30 minutes. So as you can tell from Bandar, it's a great distance to get to the national park. So what they wanted was a nice little rest stop in between where people could sit. We are a tour company, but we do a lot of packages and tours. Obviously, because we're located in the jungle, a lot of our activities are jungle orientated. So we do things here at base, such as rock climbing, abseiling. We do different team building activities, like obstacle courses and things like that. We also do water activities, including rafting, kayaking, and tubing, which are all super fun. We also do jungle trekking. We do different kinds of hikes. So ones that are shorter and easier going, they'll talk to you about medicinal plants and things that you can find around in the jungle. Otherwise, we're doing long hikes to reach certain destinations, or if people are just fitness junkies, we can do that too. So besides physical activities, we do a lot of cultural activities as well. So in our kampong Batang Duri, the indigenous tribes are Iban. So we do things like blow pipe, where you can try how the indigenous people used to do their hunting, but now we do it with things like balloons or targets, just so that you can have that sense of feel. We also do cooking demonstrations. We do bamboo chicken, which is a traditional food, and things like that. Other eco lodges might have experiences where you can try out their outfits, different kinds of foods that you can make or learn about. Our target for ecotourism in Brunei, looking towards the future, would just to keep progressing with Trendy, growing here and there. Since I took over about 4 years ago, we've changed a lot of things in how we run the business, working with different partners, trying to do different packages together. Definitely fixing up the place. It's 25 years old and we live in the jungle, so humidity and things like that, everything's constant need of repair and changing. Trying to bring new experiences, activities to people. I think with COVID, we've learned that people are willing to learn about a lot more things, so really hands-on experiences where you can learn about our environment, different plants, different foods is a really big thing. So because people are interested in it, I think there's definitely a market for it. And at the same time, we're helping our environment by teaching people the necessary skills and information that they need. I think in Brunei, ecotourism, as I said before, is just starting to grow. There's definitely a lot of potential. I think there will be a lot more eco lodges popping up here and there when people see what benefits they're doing. And I think that even with a lot more coming up, there's the potential for people to have different markets. So we being in Tamborong are unique because you're learning about the area around here, but that's not to say that if you were to open up another jungle eco lodge in Kutong, they can't teach you different things because our environment is different. Even though we're in the same country, even just being in different districts, even just in Tamrong, if you're heading over to the other side around Labu, Bukit Patoy, their forest is completely different to ours. And so there's definitely that potential to grow, and if you want to stay unique in your area, there's the possibility to do that. On the other hand, you could do little bits from here and there. So I think that it's great that people are starting to get into it. But for us as Trendy, we're just concentrating on this area around here. Ecotourism is a small section of tourism, but definitely a growing one. Brunei is lucky in the sense that we have so much nature to offer. Not a lot of countries have this. We have very low pollution, we have beautiful rainforests, we have beautiful beaches. So I think it's definitely gonna grow. It definitely has the potential to support and encourage growth in our economy as a country. But in saying that, I think that a lot of investment has to go into it as well. It's not just that Brunei can sell itself just because we have these beautiful things. We have to have infrastructure in place, help from government, things like that. And I think that in return, it can definitely help.
According to the interview, it is obvious that the ecological head is very important because it considers both the natural environment and the cultural environment and has the least impact on the environment during the construction process. Therefore, building more ecological houses will not only do more harm than good. Sustainable tourism has increased, especially in the last decade. Some travelers may worry that ecotourism practices will reduce their vacation time. On the contrary, ecotourism is very exciting and life is changing. Unique experiences and holidays you will never forget. This is not about layoffs, but about living in tourism on a sustainable scale without harming the target and its residents.